If they did it the easy way, they wouldn't be the Jets. And well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WatchUK99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. It seems like it's been a long time since we got to talk about a Jets victory. It has been almost a month right now, but I am very happy to be here to do a quick recap of the Jets versus Broncos game and break down the 3 key plays you may not remember that affected the outcome of the game, but I'm going to give you a bonus a little bit later, more on that when we get to it. But I got to say, when we got to halftime, I was really frustrated because I really felt the Jets were the better team. I don't know how anybody could have watched this game and not thought the Jets were the more talented team, but leaving points on the board, not being able to get the offense back to the line of scrimmage to spike the ball for a chip shot field goal. Whether it's a drop pass here, a dumb penalty in this spot, an injury here, it just felt like the Jets were going to give the Broncos every chance to stay in this game. And one of the hallmarks of a good team is when you have an opportunity to take a game, when you have an opportunity to seize control, you do it. And hey, the Jets got to play with a lead for the first time. How about that? They actually played with a lead. I almost fell off my chair at AJ Gators down in Norfolk, Virginia. Oh my goodness, what a game it was. It was really back and forth, but I felt like if the Jets were just going to play the way they were capable of, they were going to do it. You could see the pass rush getting more and more ferocious as the game went on. The defense didn't have the best start in the world again, but by the second quarter they were in that groove, and when this defense gets going, they will go on a run for multiple drives at a time when the other team's offense can do very little, if anything, about it. And certainly the Denver Broncos offense was not capable when the Jets defense was humming. And I want to give credit to the secondary in particular. A lot of us were nervous without djreed, without Brandon Echols. What were the Jets going to do at cornerback? I wanted to see Michael Carter stay in the slot. I didn't want to weaken that position. And indeed, Brycehall stepped in and started for the first time in a long time, in years. And I thought he did a really good job. Never mind the final play that he made, the scoop and score. But I thought he played pretty solid coverage. I never really felt he was a liability. I thought he did a good job, and I definitely want to credit him, the secondary, and I guess Jeff Ulbrich at defensive coordinator for doing that. But certainly there are things that I am concerned about. The penalties continue to be a problem with this team over the last couple of weeks. If you look at the total penalties the Jets have taken, not just the ones that were accepted by the other team, but total, this is the breakdown of the penalties. Game 1 against Buffalo, they took 6. Game 2 against Dallas, they took 9. Game 3 against New England, a lot better. They only took 3 penalties in that game. By the way, how the Jets lost to New England, I still can't figure it out. And the more I think about it, the more I want to vomit. My gosh. Last week against Kansas City, they took 9. And today against Denver, they hit double digits. They took 10 penalties. I know they're a young team. I know they're an aggressive team. But this is not a team that can continue to overcome taking penalties against good teams. They were able to get away with it against Denver, who is a substandard team, to say the least. But when they take on, say, Philadelphia next week, when they take on Miami down the road, when they go to Buffalo, they have got to clean that up. It will take their best game to beat Philadelphia. I think they're capable of it if everything goes the way that it can go. But when does that happen for the Jets? And seeing these quarterbacks run, that's something this defense has to figure out. We saw Mahomes run. We saw Russell Wilson run. Seemingly all through the first half, he had these lanes to run. What's going to happen next week when Jalen Hurts comes to town? Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's got me quite nervous, and that's one of the first things I think Jeff Ulbrich needs to figure out, and Robert Saleh, is how do we prevent Jalen Hurts from beating us with his legs? You want to make him beat you with his arm, because you do have a good secondary, you have a good pass rush, you have to keep Hurts contained in the pocket. But we'll get to that a little bit later on, because we still have to recap this game against Denver. And let's break down the 3 key plays. Actually, I'm going to do the 4 key plays. I was sick on Sunday night. That's when I started to really not feel well. I didn't do the recap of the 3 key plays you may not recall that affected the game. So to make up for that, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you some extra plays. We're going to do 4. We might even do 5. But I wanted to point out these plays in particular. Okay, play number 1. We're going to start at the very beginning of the second quarter. Now, at this point, the Jets are down 7-5, and the Broncos are really driving. Okay, they've got a 1st and goal at the Jets' 5-yard line, and they have gained 52 yards on just 3 plays. The Broncos' defense is humming at this point. The Jets' defense, like we said, very slow start. Another tendency that has got to come to an end. So, Russell Wilson throws a short pass to Jerry Jeudy, and cjmosley is right there and knocks Jeudy back for a loss of 2 yards. Big play, because with a 1st and 5, to score the touchdown, the Broncos could have gone up, what would it have been, 14-5. And instead, P. Ryan gets a 2-yard gain on 2nd down, and Russell Wilson gets no gain on the 3rd down attempt. Quinnenwilliams had his biggest play of the game by far with a big tackle there. But it was the 1st down tackle by Mosley that helped set that whole situation up. So that is play number 1. Denver had to settle for a field goal in that spot. And at that point, it's a 10-5 game. All right, let's go to, as I'm flipping my legal pad over. Yeah, I still use legal pads when I watch these games to write my notes down. All right, this game I'm actually going to combine 2 plays. They're both fumble recoveries by the Jets. We go to the 3rd quarter with 11:19 left to go. This was the first, unfortunately, Xaviergipson fumble. willmcdonald makes his biggest play as a Jet yet. He recovers the fumble and allows the Jets to keep the ball. Big deal. And then if you go a little bit later, with just 6:04 to go in the 3rd quarter, on 3rd and goal from the 5, seems to be a pattern here, 3rd and goal from the 5, Zach Wilson fumbles the ball. Elijah Harris with a big hit to Wilson, but Lakentomlinson, who I believe was the one who was beat by Harris, Tomlinson still had the presence of mind to fall on the ball, and the Jets were still able to kick a field goal. So those 2 fumble recoveries were enormous to get the Jets those 3 points that they so sorely needed. Play number 4. Now, this is a play that I think a lot of people are going to remember, but I want to bring in the mitigating circumstances as to why it blew my mind. Okay, so the Broncos have the ball at this point. They are down 18-13, so the Jets have the advantage, and the Broncos are starting with a 1st and 10. This is after Xaviergipson fumbled again, except this time Denver recovers the ball. So they are starting with a 1st and 10 on the Jets 39, and McLaughlin, the running back. By the way, how many times did I have to see Mama McLaughlin on the screen? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was just, I saw more close-ups of Mama McLaughlin than I did Taylor Swift in this game. Okay, but McLaughlin had a very good 1st quarter. Then we didn't see a whole bunch more from him the rest of the game. But McLaughlin gets stopped for no gain by Michael Carter II. Very good tackle. But on that play, Saucegardner had to come out of the game. I don't know if it was cramping, if it was dehydration, but he went back on the stationary bike, and he did come back in the game, but he did have to sit out a little bit. So now it's a 2nd and 10 from the Jets 39, and now the Jets are down their top 3 outside cornerbacks. Their corners at this point are like Brycehall and Craigjames, called up from the practice squad, who's basically a poor man's version of Justin Hardy. In other words, you don't want to see him covering. You'd rather see him on special teams. And what do the Denver Broncos do? Spread the Jets out, 3 wide, 4 wide? No. Not the genius coach and Sean Payton. He does a reverse. It's Pirine to Mims, and Mims can't handle the toss. The ball falls to the turf, and Quinton Jefferson gets right in position, falls on the ball at midfield, and the Jets take over. One of the most illogical, ridiculous, absurd, stupid play calls I have ever seen in 3+ decades of watching the NFL. What in the world were the Denver Broncos doing getting too cute there? They should have just gone after Craigjames. What they were thinking about, I don't understand. But it was a huge break for the Jets, and at that point, I gotta say, my confidence went up quite a bit that they were going to pull this game out. But then we go to play number 5. Okay, so in the fourth quarter, there's 10:25 to go. Now the Broncos have just punted the ball away. The Jets are up 21-13, and they're starting at their own 28-yard line. Okay, now the offense had been doing pretty decently at this point. They'd had a couple of field goals in a row, but it was still an 8-point lead. And with the points that the Jets had left on the table, remember they went 0 for 5 in the red zone in this game. You just had to worry that it was going to come back to bite them. And on the very first play of the drive, Zach Wilson on a play action pass on first down. What a concept! Good job, Nathaniel Hackett. Wilson has a beautiful pocket, plenty of time, and he finds Garrett Wilson towards the sideline for a 32-yard gain, takes him all the way down to the 40-yard line of Denver, and at that point, let's be honest, the way gregzuerlein's been kicking the football lately, they were already in field goal range. And then on third down, Zach Wilson scrambles for 9 more yards to get the Jets in even better field goal position, and Zuerlein drills the 49-yard field goal, and the 8-point lead becomes an 11-point lead with 7.5 minutes to go in the game. Of course, Denver did come back to score a touchdown on the next drive, but the Jets, of course, would go on to hold off the Broncos and win this game 31-21. They are now 2-3, and let's be honest, they have a season now. So, whereas before, a lot of people are wondering, is Philadelphia a must-win game? This was a must-win game against Denver. When you factor in that it is a lesser opponent, that it was an AFC opponent, you had to win this game, in my mind. Now, I was really feeling that over the next 5 games, including this one, so that would be Denver, Philadelphia, the Giants, the Chargers, and the Raiders. I wanted to see them go 4-1 in those 5 games. That would put them at 5-4 before the AFC East gauntlet against Buffalo and Miami. I wanted 4-1. Now they're 1-0 so far, and if you're going to lose one of these games, it may as well be the Philadelphia game. The Jets, of course, have never beaten Philadelphia in their history. They are 0-12. It'll be a very difficult game to win, but it is possible. And right now, the way that the Giants are playing after the bye, the way the Giants' offensive line's going, the offense is going. How is the Giants' offensive line going to stop the Jets' pass rush? Oh my goodness. The Jets are absolutely a better team than the Giants. I'm sorry. And, as talented on offense as the Chargers are, I don't really think that there's an offense the Jets can't stop when they're playing well. And then on to the Raiders, who I think the Jets are better than as well. I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. And obviously, I am very worried about alijahveratucker. It really, really upsets me that he may very well be out for the season. When you have an injury and immediately you're declared out by the team, not a good sign. And also the fact that Robert Saleh, who is so optimistic about injuries, anything Robert Saleh says about injuries, I wouldn't trust him if his tongue was notarized when it comes to injury reports. But the fact that he wouldn't rule out an Achilles, it's a very scary thought. But Lyle Collins is out there if the Jets do want to go outside the organization to pick somebody up. Max Mitchell, I thought he was decent stepping in. I thought his pass protection was good. Some people I spoke with didn't think so as much, but the times when I saw him, I didn't really think he was all that bad. But there is absolutely room to upgrade. And so I think Lyle Collins is somebody that the Jets might want to look at if AVT, if his injury does indeed turn out to be season-ending. All right, well, those are some thoughts on Jets versus Broncos. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comments. What stood out to you, whether positively, whether it was negatively. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And reminder, please join us Wednesday night, 10 p.m. The Wednesday night live show will return. I can't wait to see everybody there. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.